Hello everyone. So I wanted to make this video since there was quite a bit of confusion after I announced that I'm going to go to the States for 6 months to do the intensive MMA program called Wim to Warrior, which is meant for regular people to learn MMA through the period of 22 weeks and to have an amateur fight at the end. A lot of people had ideas and guesses and why am I doing that, but quite a few missed the point, and I realized it's probably because I didn't clearly explain why I'm doing it. So I made this video. I'm recording this video to clearly put some pointers of why this is so important to me and what's the main purpose for me doing that. So first of all, there's a big reason that I've been teaching Aikido professionally for almost 7 years, and that I've been teaching it for a while before that in the dojo that I trained, and actually even in the first club that I trained. So for so many years I was a teacher doing it professionally. I taught at least 3 times per week Aikido specifically, and then yoga as well, and meditation, and I would do a lot of seminars. So I was on the spotlight so many times, so often, from day to day, sometimes 6 days per week, sometimes 7 days per week. And I barely ever had a break. I never had a vacation for, let's say, a month. Sometimes I would close the dojo for 2 weeks per year, but then I would still try to maintain the dojo, create new projects, create new seminars, ideas, reinvent the program. And so I was always kind of switched on as an instructor. Also, the fact that in Aikido there's a bit of a worshipping of the instructor mentality didn't help either. I was not only the instructor, but I was also glorified as a sensei, and I was expected to act as a sensei, to act perfect, to not show my flaws, and that was not only a lot of pressure, that was also very much boxing me in, not allowing me to have my full expression. And only in the recent year or a couple of years I started to break those barriers down, to be simple, to be myself, and to not be afraid to show my flaws to my students. And I'm gonna make a whole video actually tomorrow about that. Still, having that experience of constantly being the role model, constantly being the giver, I realized not only I got exhausted and tired from that, but I also missed being a student. I would barely have any time to be a student. I would barely have energy to be a student, to go train somewhere. Running the dojo was so demanding that I was 90%, 95% a teacher. And being a teacher, you still learn a lot because you have a lot of challenges ahead of you, but still it's not the same as just being purely the receiver, and I miss that, and I want that, and that's one of the main reasons I want to do the Wim to Warrior program and learn MMA. I want to be like a sponge who sucks all the information in and let it transform me. I personally think this is very important for all human beings, for every person, so that we wouldn't get stuck, and as water which is stuck in one place eventually goes bad, that's what I think happens with people who do not evolve, who do not challenge themselves, who do not become beginners again. And I don't want that to happen to me, and that's why I want to, again, learn. Then many people ask me, so what's my next plan? What I'm gonna do afterwards? And I don't know, and I don't want to really know. I want to keep that space open. I want to have space in my life where I don't have big commitments and plans ahead. I want to be a student, be a sponge, and just be in that space and let it transform me. When I will have experienced that transformation, then I will be interested to see what I want to do afterwards from that new perspective. One more important reason is because for years I thought I'm efficient at fighting. Of course, this is what to say about self-defense, but studying Aikido, I came to that idea that I would be capable as a fighter, and I believed that for many years, and that was enforced in me through my training, through my teachers. And when I realized I'm not, I did accept that, but at the same time, I started martial arts on a big level because I wanted to know how to defend myself. I wanted to know how to defend others. I wanted to know how to fight. I wanted to know that I'm a strong and powerful warrior. And that idea of being a warrior, of having the ability to fight, there was always that desire in me. And knowing that I never actually learned it while I tried, there's still that gap, there's still that vacuum and empty space which wants to be filled. And my goal is not to become a great, amazing fighter. Fighting is not so important in my life, but that desire from early years is still there, and that gap wants to be filled. And I want to do that just to feel as a complete martial artist, just to feel as a complete human being who experienced all facets of martial arts. A lot of people ask me if my intention is later to teach MMA. And my answer is primarily no. Maybe in the future, someday, who knows if life will drive me towards that place. But my goal to go and train in the States in SBG Portland is not to become an instructor of MMA. I'm sure it will enhance me as a martial arts instructor, as a self-defense instructor. It will enhance my previous experience. But of course, I cannot start teaching it after just 6 months of training, even if it's intensive. My approach was always either do it very well or don't do it at all. And I'm quite certain that just by training 6 months, I will not be competent enough to teach others. That would be a mistake, and I'm not planning to do that. And also, I'm doing it both for myself and for others because I'm going to document this journey, and everything that I will receive, all the information and experience will allow me to better understand the world of martial arts, of self-defense, of combat sports, to share better things with you, to bring better content to you as well, and to hopefully share my story, my journey as an inspiration to get some ideas, what works, what doesn't work. So it's both about myself and about just sharing my journey with everyone. One more question that comes up is whether I will continue to improve Aikido with what I received there. And I want to say clearly that's not my main intention. I changed my relationship with improving Aikido quite a bit. I think Aikido can have its place in the world, but as its own form. I think it can be improved, but I'm definitely not the best person to do that because I lack experience in combat sports and self-defense. Maybe one day I can come back to this, but then I still need to gather much more experience before I do that. And I'm sure I will keep coming back and looking at some things and, oh, how does that relate to this? But it's definitely not my top priority. My driving goal is not anymore about improving Aikido. It's much more about, again, the journey. And the last thing I wanted to say here is I really believe in intuition, especially the way Gavin De Becker puts it in his book, The Gift of Fear. If we do not include our rational thinking too much, there's a certain feeling towards things of what we need, of what works, where we have to go, what we have to do. And this situation of going to the Women to Warrior program, going to SBG Portland, it definitely feels like the right thing. It definitely feels like that's what I need to do. And although it's crazy, it's a big commitment, it's a big step, risk, etc. I feel I have to do it. This is the right thing, and I trust it, and that's one more reason to do it. If you want to support my trip, then check my Indiegogo page. It's going to be in the top of the comments. There's going to be a link also in the description. As I'm looking into the trip, I'm starting to see more and more options to visit not only SBG Portland, but also I'm considering to visit Bruno Roscoe in Mexico. And if he allows me to come, we haven't spoken about that yet, but yes, that'd be wonderful. And I'm considering to go to Seattle to Bruce Bookman sensei, who showed a version of Aikido mixed with some BJJ and MMA and boxing. I also have ideas to visit Roy Dean and Nathaniel Chalkin in the back of my mind. So I have a lot of interesting ideas and videos to film, but finances are definitely going to be an important part of it. So if you want to support me and you want to help out to make this the best possible trip and documentation as possible, again, check the Indiegogo page. I wanted to quickly say such a huge thank you to everyone who already supported me. It was crazy. Some people really donated big amounts of money. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. That makes a big difference in my psychological stance in knowing how this trip is going to go and the reality of it. Just having more options to make it as valuable to everyone as I can. So thank you very much again. The very last thing I will say, I'm planning some great videos this week and next week. I decided to not hold myself back and release some of the best content I've been planning to do for a few months now. So definitely stay tuned in the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, if this is one of the first videos, subscribe, like the video, check other videos, and as always, I wish you to own your journey.